Hello and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Thursday, May 29th edition of our video devotionals. Thank you so much for joining us today and hope your Thursday is going well. And we've got a cloudy day. I think we're going to get a little bit of rain today, but we did get a break from it. And as I say, you know what? The dry spells are going to come, and all this water that has fallen is going to go down into what I guess they call the water tables. And we're going to be very thankful in case we hit a drought period, and we've experienced that in these parts and before. So we're going to let God be God and not really worry too much about what the weather's going to be. It is what it is, and God knows what we need. All right, well, we're going to be in the book of Job today. I want to highlight chapter 25. It is actually one of the shorter chapters, even in the whole Bible. It's only 6 verses, but it's one of the responses of Job's friends to him, and then Job's going to make a response. And we're going to try to give you something today I think that will help you. Otherwise, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for the responses and the just the acknowledgments of watching, and we do appreciate you. All right, so there's this ongoing back and forth. The friends are saying things to Job, and Job responds, and there's some things that are said that are truth, but the application is wrong as far as the friends trying to say, Job, you're going through this because you're just you're not right with God. Notice what this fellow says here in chapter 25. His name is Bildad. It says, Then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said, Dominion and fear are with him. He maketh peace in his high places. Is there any number of his armies, and upon whom doth not his light arise? So he's talking about the greatness of God. That's a good thing. Then notice, how then can man be justified with God? Or how can he be clean that is born of a woman? Behold, even to the moon, and it shineth not. Yea, the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less man that is a worm, and the son of man, which is a worm? And there his response ends. I understand the depravity of man. I understand the sinfulness of man. But to say, man is sinful and there's nothing that can be done about that, well, that's not a correct statement. Not saying that Bildad here was maybe finished with his thought, or maybe didn't believe that a man is justified by faith with God. But notice what Job answers in verse 1 of chapter 26. But Job answered and said, How hast thou helped him that is without power? How savest thou the arm that hath no strength? How hast thou counseled him that hath no wisdom? And how hast thou plentifully declared the thing as it is? Just want to stop there. I guess I'm like Job, and I know Job at this point is pretty perturbed at these fellas. And of course, he don't know really what's going on, but he knows that God is God. If you go back to chapter 23, then Job knows when God's finished with him, he'll come forth as gold, as it says there. But I guess the question you and me is, when you look around, you see people that maybe obviously are not right with God. They're living in sinful conditions. They're making bad choices. Perhaps we've got people in all of our churches that are not faithful, and sometimes can be unfaithful for long periods of time. They make bad decisions. I notice sometimes on Facebook, people are not faithful. Then you see some of the things they post on Facebook, and I say, well, I guess that goes hand in hand. But that being said, what am I doing for people that need help? What am I doing for people that are not in the right position? Is there anything I'm doing to try to remedy that? Is there anything I'm trying to do to kind of bring them back? One of the greatest ways, of course, is to pray for people, and that's something that we must be very careful. We can get kind of angry at people, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm the only one. I know I'm saying that facetiously, but we get kind of angry with people and the decisions they make, and yet at the same time, okay, they're not right, but let's pray that they can be right. Let's pray. Let's offer the wisdom or the counsel if it would be accepted. But just simply blanketly say, well, you're not right with God. We write you off, and that's it. I don't think that's proper. And then one little thing here I just wanted to point out that Job said, speaking about God, He stretcheth out the north over the empty place and hangeth the earth upon nothing. That's just a statement. Just says, you know what? There you go. God is so great. What holds up the earth? What keeps the whole universe, in uniformity and without chaos? I tell you, it's God. And if God can do that for a great big universe, He can do it for any of us. Obviously, we make the choices to let God intervene and do what He needs to do for us. But let's not be like old Bildad here. From all we do know at that point was he makes the statement, and then Job responds and says, hey, what are you doing about people that need to help, I guess paraphrasing. So there you are. All right, we're going to stop right there. Hope you have a great day, safe day, healthy day. Lord willing, we'll see you back tomorrow. We'll be back in the book of Job, and I hope you have a great day.